Oh, flipping hell, you guys. Flipping hell, this game. This defeat, this result. The way we lost this game today. How and why? Due to our poor, inconsistent finishing. Finishing that has been betraying us time and time again this season. And today, it was just quite comical at times. How many balls in the final thirds were we playing poorly? Playing passes too short. Shots on goal. Not connecting with the ball for most of the time. No conviction in the shot. When players are opening up space for themselves, instead of taking shots on goal, they're looking to pass the responsibility on to someone else. You know, this is why we lost the game today. Some terrible misses right at the start, which reflected the misses right in the end. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy because I'm sorry. Of course, this is a massive result for Arsenal, but I didn't even think Arsenal were that great today themselves. I'm sorry. We still created some incredible opportunities to put this game to bed. Arsenal didn't create too much. Their goal came from an individual mistake and error, something that has been plaguing us for seasons and seasons. And of course, you guys, let's not get things twisted at all. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm just going to start moaning and ranting and, just have zero perspective to the fact that we're in a Champions League final and an FA Cup final. Of course, this result doesn't mean anything with how our season's going on. Let's get that straight, yeah. But, you can't be frustrated by something that has been plaguing us time and time again. It's something we keep seeing all the time. And when are we going to see these improvements? Let's hope next season, maybe we can find market solutions to help us with our finishing issues up front. But you know what? Before I even delve into this game, this result is something we've seen time and time again. Against teams in the bottom half of the table, we picked up many draws. And it got me thinking about how we play. The reality is we play a great style of football, a winning style of football. But I think we can also admit too that is quite functional. It's all about how we control the game in front of our opponents. And a lot of times when we take the leads, the game's kind of wrapped up and done because we're not going to waste possession of the ball. The team we're playing against has to push up, meaning they're going to leave some space in behind themselves so we can pick them off. So, of course, tactically, the games were in our favour time and time again. But, the issue is with this type of system is that if you don't get that first goal, if you don't take your opportunities, the chances come few and far. It does become like function over aesthetic, over flair, over that imagination. Sometimes you need to see different solutions in games to be able to, beat these very stubborn opponents. Stubborn opponents we've seen time and time again this season. And from next season onwards, you guys, we're going to see even more of this style of football against us. So it's clear that something has to be done. And personally, in my opinion, I would have to give some slight critique to Tuchel now. As I'm going to say again, you guys, of course, I've got perspective here. Just because I'm critiquing doesn't mean I'm hating Tuchel or this is like me getting some Lampard frustration out. No, let's look at the game for how it is, yeah? And I don't know, in a game like this, was a back three system really needed? We saw recently that Tuchel is willing to change things at times. We saw a different variation of the back three system with Gilmour by himself in the pivot alongside of Mount and Ziyech. But for me, I feel that a 4-3-3 could have been great for us in this game. Having both Ziyech and Mount in the half spaces, receiving the ball, having another option in front as well, being able to pin Arsenal back better, having another forward threat. When Ziyech came on, look at what he brought to the game, man. This is why we signed the guy against opposition like this, because let's not pretend that last season we never saw the same thing too. When he came on in that cameo, we were seeing some, great through balls, great imagination, great creativity. He was finding those angles to players, his trademark customary through balls in behind, those loft for through balls in behind as well that he plays that just carve in the last minute. It kind of reminds me of like those professional bowling ball players where they can like spin the ball in such a way where like right near the end, it kind of like dips its trajectory and, goes off course like that. That's what Ziyech can do. So, you guys know my thoughts. For me, Ziyech is a player that I'd like to see play all the time. We complain about creativity, yet some of our creative players like him, we're not really using consistently like that. And, it was a massive shame. But, for me, this was a game where we could have experimented, or even in the second half, this was the game to go back to a back four very early on. bring on a Ziyech alongside Kai, who's dropping into space, and then we're causing Arsenal different issues. And who knows, with how the game was, I think we could have got a result in the end if it was like that. But, you know, from how we started the game, I thought it was okay. Now, the reality is we have a cup final coming up soon, so it's only natural that players don't want to be getting injured in a game like that. I think that's just fair to say. So for me, it would have been nice if Tuchel had given more opportunities for some of the guys who haven't been playing consistently. You know, Ziyech I'm looking at, maybe Hudson-Odoi starting, maybe even looking at Tammy Abraham, a guy that has scored against Arsenal already this season as well. But, you know, it wasn't to be the case. And even though we kind of created some very good chances at the start, Mason Mount cutting inside to take a shot against Leno very early on. And then not too long after that, we had an amazing opportunity from Kai Havertz. Wow, this is where it gets quite frustrating. I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that we don't consistently fashion great opportunities? That's why players have this like mental panic right near the ends. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand what could be happening, because Kai, he robs the ball of Pablo Mari, threw on goal against the goalkeeper, running into space. His first touch was good, it was a big one, but it allowed him to open himself up, I thought, for what was going to be a shot into the bottom left corner, top left corner, whatever source that Havertz wanted to apply to it. However, right near the end, he fumbled it, and when you don't take chances like this with how we play, that can really affect what we do. We get the first goal against Arsenal, that stops them looking to sit deep this entire game and defend for their lives. We saw in the first half when it was a bit more open what we could do in the transition and on the break, but that miss kind of delayed a lot of the good things that could have happened. You know, I'm not here to criticize the system, it's an incredible one, but I think we all know that there's no perfect system in football. Every system has its pros and then has its weaknesses. It's just how the game is, that's why we love it. But you know, Kai today, even though he showed some great touches, some nice skills, some great play in tight areas, you know, opening space up for himself with great touches, the finishing is what we want to see. That's what we kind of know him for. That's why we signed him for that. So let's hope that he starts to find his form throwing goals soon, you guys. But it was a shame because I thought his performance other than that was actually quite good. But you know, moving on, the big mistake happens in the game. Jorginho, I'm not going to be too harsh on George. For me, he's played some incredible games against many big teams. After that West Brom game, he looked like a completely different player. Could fatigue player part, potentially, who knows? I mean, it's going to be hard that we have to constantly, you know, use so much other midfield. But today was just not his game. His short passing wasn't great. His passes were too short. Every time he was looking to play off the ground, he wasn't finding his man. He was overhitting passes or playing them too short again, as I said, and it was not his game at all. So it was a bit surprising that he was allowed to finish this game, considering that maybe you're thinking he's playing against Leicester in the FA Cup final, because I thought Gilmour was actually very good in that first half. I loved how he was finding these nice, cute passing angles constantly. I love how he's so comfortable playing under pressure. He makes these very technical, intelligent touches, a way to create space for himself for passes, and when he was playing off the ball today, he was finding runners quickly in behind, which we don't do enough of. So I don't know, I think maybe Tuchel was a bit too pragmatic to not allow Billy to finish that game. I think we could have got more from him in midfield compared to George in this game in particular, for sure. But you know, even before that, we had some good opportunities. Great set piece, and Chilwell winning the ball off Saka, playing a ball into a dangerous area, and of course, nothing coming from that. But you know, in the second half, it was an opportunity for Tuchel to make some drastic changes. He brought on Hudson-Odoi, which was the good thing. However, taking off Gilmour for me was not the solution. It should have been George, and I think Ziyech should have been introduced a lot earlier. I actually would have played Ziyech over Hudson-Odoi first, to be honest, because in a game like this against stubborn opponents, what looking to come out, Ziyech's imagination passing through balls and behind is exactly why we signed this guy from Ajax. So it was a bit frustrating there, you guys, but one of the most interesting points from the game today, so much decisions relying on VAR. We had a goal ruled offsides due to it, but also I think we had a penalty decision denied as well. I think it was in the first half, if I'm mistaken. Mason Mount, after a really great passing passage to create that chance on goal, Mason Mount finds himself in the books, and then his strike hits holding, And you see the replays, it looks very clear that that was a handball, because throughout the season, we've seen that exact same situation being given as a handball. It's mad. And of course, if that went in our favour, we score from that, the game becomes completely different. But that's the thing in football. One chance can be so important between a win and a loss. And, you know, sometimes you can't rely upon things like this. I felt like we should have taken more responsibility. That second half, wow, some incredible misses. We saw a great opportunity from Zouma, who was playing a lot forward. And I didn't like how we ended the game, to be honest. We're all about keeping control, and it felt like it was panic station when Giroud came on. A player that is amazing, but I feel just doesn't really suit this system as much. I feel like what his introduction forces is for us to play more direct, faster, and rush the play all the time. Giroud was getting peppered aerially today, naturally. Arsenal defending so deep, he had 2 men on him every single time. It just didn't feel like the right move. It felt like we just needed movement in behind. I think Kai Havertz didn't actually play the entire game today. I'm sorry. If he doesn't start against Leicester, big deal. We have other options. He should have played the entire game today. His movement was very good, especially when he dropped deeper. More things could have been done with that, to be honest. But, you know, speaking of Giroud and Zouma, they had 2 great opportunities where Zouma with an incredible header, actually, when he was playing further forward to force something, hits the top of the crossbar, and then Giroud with a rebound hits the crossbar as well. He came on, he looked a bit rusty, and I think that's what tends to happen quite a bit at times. I thought Hudson-Odoi was quite rusty a bit too. You're playing most of the game on the right hand side where, you know, you're a player like Callum, what can you really do? Your options are kind of limited. You're just going to be playing crosses in the box or looking to play 1-2s, run some behind, create space. I mean, that's the function behind how we play, and that's where it can be a bit repetitive and a bit boring sometimes. But, you know, this has been far from a boring season. Our football is far from boring, but if you catch us in our bad days, then this is what can happen. Yeah, it's mad. I really thought right at the end of the game, you guys, that we had done it. When Hudson-Odoi was through on a counter-attack, played a ball to Pulisic, maybe the pass would have been better from Callum. And maybe Pulisic, who, you know, credit to him, I thought was looking to make things happen today. You know, some nice pieces of close control, looking to, you know, receiving the half turn, tying out Arsenal, run at them, and he caused them a lot of danger. I thought he was good, but I guess for Tipe, it's part of the end for him not being able to get in that position in the end, and our final opportunity goes down the drain, you guys. But, you know what? I'm going to end this match review, but there was one thing that I saw today. Obviously, we have a Champions League final, so it's only natural that I'm going to consume our entire Champions League run in that 11-2012 season. And one thing I saw when we won the Champions League that season, we actually picked up a home defeat against Arsenal. There has been a lot of superstitious things happening this season in regards to this Champions League run. But I think on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Let's keep perspective. This was a shit game today. The players weren't that good by their high standards, which maybe I can allow because we have a cup final that's more important. And of course, they played some very intense games in a short amount of time. So smash the like button and I'll see you guys soon. Cool.